Okay. That was weird. So I totally just was recording an episode and had a major technical issue. My whole shit just shut down and restarted. Yikes. So I'm back. Uh a little thrown off after that, but hopefully we are able to complete this episode. Um thank you for being here. This is the Sexual Intellectual Podcast. I'm JD, aka He Who Pods. And I'm back, y'all, after a lot of birthday behavior, after a lot of outings. I'm back, and so is the pod. So let's get right to it. Thank you for being here, whether this is your first time here or you've been around the block with us. Trying to be stronger and more consistent for 2023. So let's begin. I got the specs on because I got a little something I want to talk about that I wrote down, because often when you write things down, it's easier to tackle them. So we're going to start off this pod with 5 tips. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5, cinco, for shower sex. 5 tips for shower sex. Number 1. Are you ready? Are you ready? No, okay. All right. Number 1 is mutual water temperature. Mutual water temperature. Why? Because a lot of times what happened is the person whose home it is, or who got to the shower first, if you're in a hotel, whatever, the person quote unquote in charge of setting up the shower, they often set the water up to the temperature they prefer. So if you like super hot showers, you put that shit up all the way. More fire, burn. But the next person may not enjoy those same temperatures, or the opposite. Some people like really cold showers, right? And so you set up the nice cold shower and you're feeling good, but then the next person comes in, they're like, hey, yo, hey, you trying to freeze me out? What's going on here? So you got to be careful with those shower temperatures. You want to do something mutual, right? Like Moni in the middle. What does that mean? You like hot, they like cold, you go warm, or you kind of play around with the water until both of you say, all right, I could do that. That way, it is a mutually beneficial experience. Let's go to tip number 2. Tip number 2 is don't hog the water. Some of y'all will get in the shower with a friend, a partner, whatever, and man, you just in the water the whole time. That's no fun. They're back there freezing. That's never fun. Or they're back there just bored because you're talking and enjoying. Yeah, and then, Thomas, I don't know why he did that, but Thomas was like, totally just ODing with the fax machine at work. And they're back there like, oh yeah, that's what Thomas did. That's cool. Can I get some water though? So don't hog the water. All right. Next, number 3, keep the positions simple. Remember that you're in a confined space. Most people don't have the biggest shower ever. And also, it's slippery in there. You don't want to do all your favorite pretzel positions in the shower. You want to keep it simple. Look at the space that you're working with based on the shower size and the size of you and your partner, and see what's realistic. It's not the place where you're going to be able to do all of this cool Kama Sutra positions. Unless you're really flexible, then that's a whole nother ball game. But it's better to keep the position simple, because you're going to waste time trying to do super fly positions and things are already slippery, wet, etc. Better to keep it simple so y'all can bang out and have a good time, pun intended. Okay, let's move on to tip number 4. Washing before intercourse can be foreplay, right? You can get really fun things going if you both wash up before, you know what I'm saying? And so you can wash their back, they can wash your back, naughty caressing, all type of good stuff can happen. And this can actually be the precursor. Like, yes, you both went in the shower intending to have fun. Maybe. It was probably planned. And even if it wasn't, this is still a good idea. You're in there, you're both seeing each other in all your glory in your birthday suits, right? And you're like, man, that's hot. But sometimes that's not enough. And even if it is enough, nothing wrong with getting the juices flowing even more, right? And so you get in there and you wash each other up. Oh yeah, 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 yeah. Turn around, turn around. Oh word, that's how you gonna turn around? Yeah, I got it. So washing each other before intercourse can be a great form of foreplay. Okay, that's tip number 4. And tip number 5. Before we get to tip number 5, let me be clear. When I say this, I'm saying it can be foreplay. It can also just be very sensual, which is also a way of arousing someone else, right? You don't have to get in there and scrub them like an old grandma. Come here, you dirty. Let me scrub you. That's not going to probably turn the person on. But there are ways you can wash your partner in which it will be slow, soothing, and sensual. And this also is a great way to start the situation, the event, the fun. Okay? Now, let's get to tip number 5. Tip number 5 is make sure you both have fun. Make sure you both have fun, the two of you, both parties. Why? Because it's not just about you. It's supposed to be a fun experience. You want to look back and say, hey, that shower, yeah, that was cool. Maybe next time you get in the shower alone, you might catch a flashback. Oh man, I almost fell because, woo, Thursday night. Hey, yo, Thursday night was crazy. Or whatever, y'all get it. All right. So that is tip number 5. That was 5 tips for shower sex. All right, now let's move right along. I don't need glasses for this. Next part. So there's all of these articles coming out. Maybe we'll cover some of them next time, but I think it's really interesting that a lot of experts, a lot of studies have been coming out speaking about the T virus. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Excuse me. Y'all know what I'm talking about. All right. And so that virus, that I will not say the name of at the moment, but that virus, the one that caused lockdowns and stuff, you know which one. Lots of things have been coming up about that. They're saying that the meds don't work. They're saying that the home tests are not efficient. They're saying that the boosters are not needed. Oh man, so much stuff is coming out. They are questioning everything and studying everything that has to do with the T virus. And I, for one, think it's awesome. I'm getting a kick out of it. I gotta be honest. I know a lot of people may say that I'm being insensitive. Cool. I don't care. To be honest, I think a lot of things with the T virus have been blown out of proportion. God damn. I don't know if the mic picked it up, but that shit was loud. They made car alarms turn on. Yikes. Anyway, a lot of things with the T virus I feel have been blown out of proportion, and they are questioning it. There are lots of studies being done or a lot of studies have been done, and the results are coming out. A lot of things are being questioned. I think Paxlovid was a no-brainer. There were people, I spoke about it on this pod a while back, that people were taking it and then testing positive again weeks later. There are definitely lots of issues with all of these things. And to cut them some slack, it makes sense, right? This is still a very new virus. And so when things are new and you're kind of doing things in a reactionary way to bring resolutions and solutions, you're going to make mistakes, right? Or you're not going to have enough information to truly make everything 100% the way it needs to be the final solution, right? Because we learn as we go, right? And so the first time you rode bike, you wasn't popping wheelies and doing tricks. It takes time, it takes data, and it takes information. So now we're getting more of that, and scientists and experts are saying, listen, Some of this stuff is not working. Some of this stuff is not needed. And so what we're seeing is that natural immunity is being discussed more and more, and that we need less medication and more things to boost our immune system. Things that I have spoken about with my co-host Dre on Food, Fitness, and Fun. And so we see that really uh, as other variants are coming out and they're trying to react and pivot, really what we are finding is that what we need to do is work on ourselves, right? This is harder for people um, with immunocompromised, in the immunocompromised category, right? People who are immunocompromised, people who have conditions prior to getting the virus, um, and people who are elderly, because the older we get, the less our immune system is able to fight off things in general. Some people are very healthy in their older years, but in general, that's not the case. And so we find that people who are outside of those categories, who are not elderly, not immunocompromised, didn't have pre-existing conditions, they're able to do things based off of regular natural immunity, like we are with everything else in life that has come into, human interact, has come in contact with humans, is what I mean to say. So yeah, what's that mean? That means vitamin D3, that means vitamin C, that means zinc. These things have been proven to boost our immune system and help fight the T virus. So these are the things that we should be working on, as opposed to, 99 boosters. Got 99 boosters and the never mind. All right. So that's my take on it. I think it's very interesting. I think that was, anyway. I think it's really interesting, and I think it makes sense, right? So a lot of people will probably poke fun at the fact that a lot of these things are being questioned or are said to be inaccurate. It does amuse me a bit, yes, but I also think science works that way, as I stated. So we're going to continue to learn as this virus continues to evolve, and as we continue to gain data, collect information, and as they continue to study and find different ways and different solutions. So there's a lot of articles. Y'all can go check them out, and maybe we'll cover some of them in the near future more in depth. But so many of them have been coming out from different sources, different parts of the world, that I didn't want to sit here and just read a bunch of articles to y'all. So y'all can go check them out. Go look for that. If you're curious, and if you're not, well then, hey, listen, vitamin C, vitamin D3, and zinc, and best of luck, because things are very interesting. So let's move on. Okay, so we haven't been here in a while, and man, Biden and the classified files are extremely interesting and entertaining to me, because y'all know everyone lost their mind when that other guy, who we won't name, had classified documents, and there was all of this big hoopla, and then big old Biden, he's got the classified documents too. And man, I think everything that's going on with that is super interesting, because they are really like, I don't know. I mean, they hired a special investigator and all of this stuff, but then they're like, we don't got to search his house. They put that other guy through the ringer. I just think it's very interesting how the political system and those who are in charge of it are very choosy, as Fabulous Record says, are very choosy about how they do things with different people. And there's a lot of ways you could look at that. You could look at that as class, race, political party, is all type of ways that they kind of pick and choose. And here we are seeing it again. And let's be clear, I don't even believe in the two-party system. Let me just say it plainly. I think it's all about agendas. But I think it's interesting that they choose to do things that way. So I'm going to call a spade here. They are not doing things the same way. And I think it's very interesting. I'm just watching with like Michael Jackson with the popcorn and Thriller, smiling and chewing away as I just watch it all play out. So if you have thoughts on what's going on with Biden and the classified documents and the way that it's all being handled, I'd love to hear from you. Talk to me about it. Let's chat about it. Put it in the comments, and let's talk more about this whole thing. The last thing I'm gonna cover, trying to keep it short. That was how this pod always was meant to be. I don't want this pod to be 2 hours, although there's a lot going on. I could definitely talk for 2 hours. So, one thing I think is super interesting is that there's a bill being presented, has not been passed, but is being presented, in which they will remove income tax. Just make sure I got this correct, because this is called the Fair Tax Act. And what they want to do is eliminate the tax code and basically replace income tax with a sales tax and change the way that the IRS and everything is happening. And it's called the Fair Tax Act. It would definitely shift a lot of things. I'm trying to see, is there anything else that's notable here? Oh, that was weird. Yeah. I mean, I doubt it's going to pass for many reasons. But I don't know. I guess it's interesting to see that this is even happening. And implement a national sales tax. Yeah. The House is planning to vote on a Republican bill that would abolish the national income tax. It would implement a national sales tax in its place and eliminate the IRS. I don't know if that's true, but that's what this article from Business Insider says. The legislation has a near zero chance of becoming law, and Biden said he'd veto it. Well, there it is, folks. Just when you thought, hit the drop.
Politics as usual.
Just when you thought some of that might go our way, it does not. Income tax is probably not going anywhere, but the fact that there's a bill trying to remove it, I thought was super interesting. And I had to tell y'all about it. Look that up if you want. It's called the Fair Tax Act. And it's probably not going to pass, but I think it would be super interesting if it did. I think it's super interesting that they're even trying to make this happen. And I have some theories on why. It's very possible that this was in reaction to some of the things that Biden and his administration have been trying to do with taxes. It could be in reaction to that, but I just think it's interesting that this is even a conversation. The fact that they are trying to have this bill happen, I think is super interesting and worth discussing. So that's that. We'll keep you updated. I'll keep you updated. I'll keep you posted and let you know what happens. But when the article says it has a near zero chance of happening and Biden said he'd veto it, probably not much more to cover on that. But I'll keep you guys posted on that. And that's a wrap. We're going to keep this one short and sweet. I never wanted these to be super long pods. But I will be back soon with another pod because we're trying to be consistent and there's a lot of shit going on to talk about. And so stay tuned. Thank you again for being here. I'll see y'all very soon.